How do I change this screen to see everyone simultaneously? Does anybody know?
I only get 4 people at a time.
Yeah, I see
there's no room.
Councilmember Nicole and Dr. Burdanley.
Hi.
So the flowers are in the vase now.
Councilman Adams, you just go up to the top. There's something that says grid view, and it shows you there's a 9-block show grid video, and it shows you at least 9 videos at one time. You just kind of hover over the top to see it.
Let me see.
I don't see grid view.
I would love for you to show me how that works, Miss Hampton, but you'd have to find this in about 12 pieces in the bottom of my pool if I start trying to do too much with it, because I would load it with shells just as quickly as I could get there.
All right, I just sent you a picture of my computer.
Yeah, I don't have the availability of all that. I mean, I have 3 little dots in the right corner, more, and then 3 dots, but
Yeah, I don't see that.
it doesn't give me.
I don't see it either on an iPad. I don't think it's there.
I don't know. Regardless, we'll make it. Now I've got the screen shared with the agenda. So let's see if I can.
There is an item that says webinar settings. Could it be underneath that?
I don't think it is. I think I looked at that. Yeah, it's not there.
Not there.
You can touch up your appearance there.
Oh, I could use that.
God knows what that means, but
Was that a hint?
Well, it's 5:30, and unless I can touch up the bags under my eyes, we're just gonna keep it moving. Well, I'll call to order our City of Douglasville's public hearing for our budget for today, which is May the 14th. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Douglasville City Council budget hearing. I'm Douglasville's Mayor, Rochelle Robinson. Today's meeting is being conducted in whole or in part by teleconference. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons that are anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. When I say your name, please respond to the affirmative. Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
I am here, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Chris Watts.
I'm here, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Nicole Miller.
Present.
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Mark Adams.
Present, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Present.
Thank you. And Councilman Howard Estes.
I am here as well.
Thank you so much. And of course, we went down the road. We did not do outside of Mayor Pro Tem, just letting everyone know. So staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative as well. Our city manager, Ms. Marcia Hampton.
Present.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
Present.
Yes, ma'am. Our Finance Director, Ms. Karen Callan.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. And Financial Analyst, Mr. Shane Bird.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so this open meeting of the Douglasville Mayor and City Council is being conducted by teleconference consistent with Official Code of Georgia, annotated section 50-14-1G, due to emergency conditions involving public safety in order to mitigate the transmission of the coronavirus and to reduce risk of COVID-19 illness. That code section, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows local governments to meet by teleconference in the event of emergency, so long as means are afforded for the public to have simultaneous access to the teleconference meeting. For this meeting, we are convening by Zoom app, as shown on the city's website, describing how the public may join, which is via YouTube media platform. Some or all of our elected officials and staff are attending by teleconference, and interested members of the public are attending by live stream via YouTube. Instructions for the council members and staff. Please allow me to give you these instructions, and if we have any questions, you are certainly welcome to ask. Council members and staff, please use the teleconference public hearing meeting. As you know, we conduct our meetings by committee. So I will ask of each committee chairperson, after you have read an agenda item and heard the comments of our staff members, at the appropriate time for council questions or comments, please call on each council member by name And I will do that, and council members hold your comments until the committee chairperson has called your name. Or however the committee chairperson decides to do that. He may or she may have an open forum and allow council members to speak. It's your pleasure. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. And please remember to speak clearly into the telephone and refrain from shuffling papers, typically loudly or generating any other background noise to allow for accurate transmission and transcript-free errors of assisting the city clerk when we're producing the production for these accurate minutes. Okay, please wait until the committee chairperson or I yield the floor to you so that we can all be heard and one person speaking at a time. And if council members wish to engage in any other talking, please do so through the committee chairperson, taking care that committee chairperson will call on you to speak. For the public, for participants, be advised that this meeting will allow public comments as well. Even if members of the public do not provide comment, participants are advised that people may be listening who do not provide comments, and listeners are not required to identify themselves. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. In order to speak, a council member or a speaker sign-in form must be submitted online an hour prior to the start of meetings. No forms will be accepted after the meeting is convened. During the public hearing, the Assistant City Manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson, will read your name into the record. Once you've heard your name, please repeat your first and last name and address, then proceed with your comments. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking, and please remember to speak clearly into your telephone and refrain from shuffling papers. Each person has one opportunity to speak and a comment on the agenda items. Now, this is general information for our budget hearings. This is a budget public hearing where agenda items are presented for discussion and official action will be taken at a later date. The agenda item will be handled as the following. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item. Then myself and council members may possibly ask questions to the finance director and city manager and whom else is presenting, our financial analyst. And we'll proceed that way. Are there any questions from anyone on the call, on the Zoom? Okay, if not, then we'll go on with the agenda. And I will go to the Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams. And you can take it away, Councilman Adams. You are not unmuted.
I apologize, Madam Mayor. Call the Finance Committee to order. We're going to have a presentation tonight, public hearing for the purpose of presentation of the proposed city budget for fiscal year 2020, 2021. I believe Ms. Karen Callan is with us in order to cover that area for us. Ms. Callan, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Karen Callan, Finance Director with the City of Douglasville. I have a brief presentation for tonight. This public hearing is required by state statute. So we are meeting that state statute with the public hearing this evening. I've got Shane Bird, who is moderating the presentation. And this should take about 10 minutes. And then if you have any questions after that, we can take questions. And then Ms. Chelsea Jackson is receiving any comments for the public if they have signed up for the evening, and we'll give them an opportunity to ask any questions. So just a quick overview of the budget process. Each January, the City Council meets and establishes priorities for the upcoming budget in January. The development of the budget by the department directors and the city manager through January through April. Then we had the budget workshop April 28th. It was a long day, 9 to 5. Today we have our required virtual public hearing, and then the final budget adoption will be May 28th at 5:30, and that will be in an in-person meeting. You know, this year was a unique year. Right in, I think it was about March 16th, we had the emergency declaration, but budgeting around the COVID-19, we've had to program in a 78% decrease in capital outlay. We are using $3.2 million in our fund balance reserves. We are projecting that COVID-19 effects will go through July, August, September, and October. And assuming that through the first of the year, things will pick back up and things will recover. Travel and training was cut across all departments. We gave each department $2,500, and that is just so they can do their virtual training. The remaining went into a contingency. So if there are certifications that are required, they will have to be approved by the city manager to come out of the contingency fund to go into the departmental director fund. The total budget is 7% decrease from the prior year. And our budget has been posted online for anyone to take a look at in detail. This is a snapshot of our total general fund revenues. 74% of that makes up of different kinds of taxes, and I've got those taxes on the next slide. Licenses and permits, those are business licenses and building permits, 9%. Charges for service, those are West Pines, and rentals. Fines and forfeitures, we know what that is. Investment income, 1%. And our other financing sources is unique this year. It's 10% of our total revenue source, and that is our fund balance. $3.2 million that we're pulling out of our basically savings account to help meet our revenue requirements. The breakdown of the 74% of our taxes, 39% is property tax, 28% is local option sales tax. We'll be receiving April's local option sales tax at the end of May. So then we can get a good idea of how COVID has affected us. Franchise tax makes up 9%. Our insurance premium tax makes up 9%. And hotel motel tax has such a decrease, it makes up, we're making 0% this year. Our revenues by categories, you can see decreases across the board. Our licenses and permits, down 14%. Charges for services, down 6%. Fines and forfeitures, down 21%. Investment income, 21%. Our miscellaneous, which is our tower rentals and our reimbursements from any reimbursements that we have throughout the year. Other financing sources, that is our fund balance. We used $4.1 million in the prior year, and that is to fund the maintenance building. And this has already been appropriated through a budget amendment. Was $1.3 million for the maintenance building. We appropriated fund balance for the TAD legal costs, comprehensive transportation plan, and the cleanup of the old mill. And then the most recent budget amendment, we appropriated $1.4 million to finish out the current year. Then $3.2 million for fiscal year 21. The total taxes have a decrease of 3%. Our local option sales tax, we are budgeting a 2% increase. We are expecting decreases again through November, December, but increases because of the internet sales tax that was approved. It became effective April 1st. And again, we won't see the results of that until the end of May. So I'm anxiously awaiting to see what that looks like. Property taxes, revenue, we have decreased that by 1%. The problem that we'll see this year is that collection rates will more than likely be down. The collection rate usually is at 99%. We're anticipating a 96% collection rate. Our general fund expenditures by category, our total personal services are up 6%. That is due to the health insurance expense, 6 months at our flat rate because we're on a calendar year, and then 6 months at a 10% increase based on our premiums and our estimates. Workers' comp, 3% increase, and our pension fund, 3% increase, our pension expense, excuse me. We're down 8% on purchase contract services, and that's where our travel is included. Down 4% on supplies, 78% down on capital outlay. Our interfund charges up 1%, and that is for vehicle maintenance and vehicle fuel. Our other costs are up 27%, and that is due to our contingency. Because there's so many unknowns this year with our budget, we placed a $500,000 contingency. Our other financing uses decreased by 48%. And that is because last year we had a transfer from general fund to the sanitation fund that we do not have again this year. And then our debt service is decreased by 51% because the Hawthorne Center and Fire Station loan is paid off. So we do not have those two debt service payments this year. Our total expenditures by department, we have general government at 34%, and that is for the city manager, city clerk, legislative, finance, legal, HR, and then public safety, 39%. And that's very typical in all municipalities that public safety is one of the largest pieces of the pie. Our personnel services are 61% overall. We try to keep that under 65%. Unfortunately, capital outlays at 2%, and we try to keep that at 10%. So this year, unfortunately, will put us behind in our funding our capital plan. The debt service that we have in general fund, the only that we have is West Pines Golf Course, and that will be completed and paid off in August of 2035. And it's $254,000 a year. For the sanitation fund, we have a decrease of 34%, and that is because the prior year we had the use of fund balance for their building, the maintenance and sanitation building. There was also $235,000 of expenses that moved from the sanitation fund to the general fund for the trustee guard. Our special revenue funds total $1.6 million. And of these, there are matching funds from the general fund of $329,000. That's included in the LMIGs, the 17, the 21, and the Riverside Parkway Bridge. The conference center budget has decreased by 23%, and that is largely due to the activity rentals and the hotel motel tax decreasing. Confiscated asset funds. This budget is put together by the police department. The police chief has authority over how these funds are spent. There has been a decrease of $18,000 between the local fund and the federal fund. The special revenue funds, we have the CVB Hotel Motel Tax Fund. That's decreased by 44%, and that is due to the hotel motel tax revenue decline that we're projecting. Rental car fund stayed the same. This is, again, the amended budget. The Public Purpose Corporation, 0%. Douglasville Development Authority, -6%. Public Safety Debt Service Fund, decreased by 1%, and our other post-employment benefit fund increased by 5%. And each year our goal is to increase that funding by 5%. That covers all our funds. Our budget adoption dates are May 28th at 5:30. It'll be an in-person special call meeting on Thursday. The budget document can be found online. And also we have a hard copy posted with Karen Huddleston if anyone would like to come in and view just a hard copy. And that concludes our public hearing for the evening.
Thank you, Thank you, Ms. Callan. I would open the floor then for Ms. Jackson to have anyone that would like to ask questions from the public, that we go ahead to that portion of the meeting. Ms. Jackson, is there anyone here that would want to ask questions of the council or mayor or Ms. Callan?
Councilman Adams, no one has signed up to ask questions to the mayor, council, or to Ms. Callen.
Okay. Council, Madam Mayor, anyone have any question or comment concerning this budget that Ms. Callen has described for us this evening?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Callen, for the report. I did see under our 39% that's coming from the taxes, from a property tax. What does the Douglas County Tax Office or Tax Commissioner say about collection? I know you said typically it's 99% and you're projecting 96. Does he think that that it's going to come in on time, or how do we, what is he seeing? What's the trend, I guess?
So when I talked to him, he did say that he thought that the collections would not decrease. But through this budget process, Ms. Hampton, city manager, had been on multiple calls with her city manager groups.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the consensus, the majority of the consensus is that there are going to be some people, since there are so many people who are unemployed, that will not be able to pay their property taxes in time.
Okay, so is that a realistic projection, 96%, or should it be lower? Or
I believe at this point, 96% is realistic.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Callen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just let anyone else that would like among the council to identify yourself, and then let's tread lightly so that we don't run over one another rather than doing another roll call. Is there anyone else that would have a comment or question?
Mr. Chairman, this is Chris Watts.
Yes, go ahead, Coach.
I just had one question for Ms. Callen. Ms. Callen, with what's coming out of the fund balance, what would our fund balance be? What would the balance of it? What is it at right now?
So right after all is said and done, and after we appropriate for the proposed budget, and if all the projections come in like we have projected, then we're looking at a $9.9 million fund balance.
When we get down like that, part of when things start turning around, part of the turning around would be to bring that back up. I mean, what is in place to eventually build that back up again?
We are currently working on that right now.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Coach. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I know our time is limited. Can I do a follow-up question, please?
Sure you can.
Thank you so much. Just with Councilman Watts just asked to the finance director, what is the recommendation for cities projected for their fund balance, and what is ours comparatively speaking with the 9.9 million in our fund balance?
Yes, ma'am. The GFOA, the Governance Finance Officers Association, typically recommends 3 months of your operating budget. So that with the 9.9 million puts us right at our 3 months of operating. So now that's, it's just recommended that 3 months, but you have your cities that are closer to, like the cities that might get hit by a hurricane on the East Coast. Theirs is going to be higher than that because they are subject to, you know, more catastrophes. Yes. So, but we are, even with the use of our fund balance, we are still right at our three months.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I thought that that's where we were. So we're in good shape. But again, like Coach Watts says, once we recover, we can start to put that savings back in our fund balance or replenish our fund balance so that we'll have our 3 months and beyond, which we're accustomed to having with this council. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome. Thank you. That's a great question, Madam Mayor. Anyone else? We have about 7 minutes. Yes, Coach, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick comment. I just would like to say how much I appreciate everybody that's responsible for the fact that we have had that fund balance had way above the 3 months in place, that we're able to accomplish some of the things we've been able to accomplish. Not that we've done anything special, the people behind the scenes like Ms. Callen, and I just appreciate all those folks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Great comment, Coach. And I echo those same compliments to each and every one of the staff members that have worked so hard on this budget. I know it's not been a pleasant process because of the fact that we have been hit here at the last moment. Almost in the 8th inning, it seems like everything going well and running smooth, and a lot of projects on the horizon that we wanted to continue with. And now we're going to have to take a break, like a 7th inning stretch here, and see how things recover. But we are so blessed to be in the position that we're in. And I know that everyone feels the same way. But thank you, staff, for all that you're doing and continue to do during this rough situation that we are in at the moment. Any other comment?
Councilman Adams, this is Marsha Hampton.
Yes.
I just wanted to add this comment as you all talk about your fund balance, and this is just something looking forward. Just keep in mind that the 3-month savings is a good place to be, but understand there's so many things that have been removed from this budget. So as you go moving forward, what you have allows us to be able to have that assurity. But we will be coming back to you all, as we've said, throughout this year on a monthly basis, watching revenues, because the critical piece will be not only just replacing what you have removed from savings, but being able to replace what you've taken out of the budget that are necessities.
As in, Ms. Hampton, the capital projects that we were preparing to be able to go forward with that $5± million.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Yes.
And not only just those, but your critical things like police vehicles and those things that we don't have that we need to operate. So I just wanted to make certain that you all kept that in mind and that the public understood that.
Yes, thank you for that comment, Ms. Hampton. That's hopefully that's well taken and heeded by each of us, and our constituents will understand and realize the reason that we're doing what we're doing in order to keep that fund balance in a safe position, not knowing what's coming down the pike next. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam Mayor, I will make a motion that we adjourn the Finance Committee and leave this meeting.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Is there any other business to come before council this evening during this special called public hearing for the budget?
Do we just, Madam Mayor, this is Coach Watts again. Do we just stay on, or do we have to go
We
out?
gonna have, let me see, 4 minutes break
I second that, by the way, to adjourn.
to adjourn. All those in favor of coming from the Finance Committee, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Sounds
The ayes
unanimous.
have it. We don't
Thank
have
you,
any
Madam
other
Mayor.
business. Okay, we're adjourned and we'll come back at 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
Take a quick break.